Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line. We are joined by Patrick Green. He's president of the Amalgamated Transit Union. Good discussion tonight about the impact of this coronavirus on essential employees. Transit workers certainly fall into that category. Patrick Green answering questions. Several calls. Let's go back to the phones here. Stanley. Hello, Stanley.
Yeah. Yes. How you doing this evening?
Doing well. What's on your mind?
I've been listening to some of the calls, and speaking of the school starting back up, and I know that MTA Transit, we go service a lot of the schools. Do they have any type of measure set up to protect the drivers due to the fact that there are going to be more riders, especially with children, and children with the fact of not following directions and very unruly? How are they going to handle that?
That's a good question. So, and the premise of that question is that MTA transports a lot of students. I know a lot of high school students, correct? So how common is that? How many high school students do they transport? Are you concerned that if we go back to in-person learning there in the schools, it'll have an impact on the drivers?
So we do transport several thousand students, magnet school students as well. They will be exposed to the same things that all other passengers are exposed to. The drivers will be at greater risk, just based on what the experts are saying, that children can transmit the virus sooner. We don't have currently, that any of us are aware of, any special cleaning guidelines in place when we bring these children back to school. There are no special conditions that we are setting forth. So I believe, and I could be wrong, but I doubt it. I believe everyone is at risk, and this is going to be a very difficult situation, not only for us, but for the children and the families of those children. There is no social distancing taking a full busload of kids to school. It doesn't happen.
So does there need to be some sort of policy? Should we go back to in-person learning, and should the buses then be transporting thousands of students? Should there be some new policy that comes along with that?
There should be, but unfortunately we don't have the manpower, the staffing, the equipment, or any of the necessary training in order to be able to do that. If we look in places like our brothers and sisters in New York, they are actually fogging and spraying the buses. They went to UV lights that potentially kill the virus that's in the air. We don't even have HEPA filters on our buses. I mean, so we're exposed.
Mm-hmm. And you would be very concerned once school starts back. That's another layer of concern.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it goes to what I was saying earlier, is as we begin to relax standards, as we try to get back to normalcy, and even though we all believe that we're forcing ourselves back to normalcy, we lower our standards, more people are going to get sick.
So we talk about trying to get back to normal, and we all want to get back to normal, but how do you think this changes your workplace forever? What are the things that will come out of this that you hope or believe will never go back to being what they were?
Absolutely. So we will, in terms of our workplace, we will never allow a pandemic to hit us the way that it has without a plan, without some background. We will do what we used to do in the Army. We will have after-action reviews at the union level. We will have these reviews, and we will now begin to project out, and we will begin to say, so now how are we going to handle the flu every year? Because most people, we expect the flu to come, right? We expect pneumonia to happen, but do we have contingencies in the workplace to protect our employees? Do we have a plan once so many employees get sick? Those things don't exist. Now, I can tell you, like I was saying earlier, we actually had to create that. We had to come forward with the plan. And that plan is what, with a few tweaks in the last couple of months from the administration here, but the baseline part of that plan was from us. And we can no longer sit back and wait for something to happen. We have to plan. We have to plan to protect our people. And this has been an unusual experience. I would have loved to step aside. That was my plan in terms of leadership, but I can't do that in this situation. I can't, because our members, the employees, the public is at risk in this city. And so we have to do everything we can to protect them. I always say this, and I'll be brief. All we are is just a group of people who came together in the workplace to advocate for positive work experiences, fair wages, and just to be treated as decent human beings. It doesn't matter what you may think about a union, but this union is charged with protecting the health and safety of the employees, and by virtue of that extension, the public that we serve.
Well, thank you very much. Patrick Green, president of the Amalgamated Transit Union. We've talked to a lot of labor leaders in the midst of this pandemic, and it's great to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so
We will
much.
take a break. We'll come back, wrap everything up. Be back right after this.